In Volume 5, it begins in 1901, the same month that the revolutionary and Lenin's wife, Nadezhda Krupskaya, joined her husband abroad after serving her own exile in Ufa. It also contains the first time Lenin used the pseudonym Lenin in what is undoubtedly one of his most famous works, What is to be Done, which articulated the platform of what will later become the Bolshevik faction of the Russian Social Democratic Party. In the Precursors of the Zemstvo and the Hannibals of Liberalism, Lenin engages with people who praise the reforms enacted in 1861 by Tsar Alexander II, mentioned in episode 2. The reforms created self-governing bodies known as Zemstvo to resolve local economic problems through an elected board of representatives. Liberals accepted these reforms and hailed them as concessions by the autocracy and as the first step towards broader liberalization. Lenin argues here that the Zemstvo only arose because popular pressure on the autocracy, not because of its benevolence. As evidence, he cites numerous instances in which the autocracy suppressed expressions of local self-governance that went against it, proving that the Zemstvo and the autocracy were mutually incompatible. In fact, over time, the Zemstvo became a principal instrument of autocracy precisely because it convinced liberals to accept the monarchy through their position as land-owning members of the Zemstvo boards. In The Agrarian Question and the Critics of Marx, Lenin engages for the first time in any substantial way with the relationship between man and nature. Interestingly enough, he takes the side of nature, arguing that it is as impossible for human labor to supersede the forces of nature as it is to substitute pounds for yards. Both in industry and in agriculture, man can only utilize the forces of nature when he has learned how to operate, and he can facilitate this utilization by means of machinery, tools, etc. This is a vital quote that goes against later claims that Marxism is a technologically deterministic ideology. In A Talk with the Defenders of Economism, Lenin addresses a letter sent to the party critical of its reliance on ideology. He states that the writer doesn't appreciate how the ideology of the party is wedded to working class spontaneity in practice as a guide for tactical and organizational questions. He quotes a letter from Ferdinand Lassalle to Marx in saying that it is, quote, precisely internal party struggles that lend a party strength and vitality, that the greatest proof of a party's weakness is its diffuseness and the blurring of clear demarcations, that a party becomes stronger by purging itself. Hence, to a certain extent, Lenin is saying that internal disputes within the party at this stage are a vital component of its growth. Of course, this should not be confused with the position that he'll later take once in power on party unity, but again, let's not jump there. Anarchism and Socialism is a vital read for those on the fence about anarchism and its relationship to Marxism, and it is only 2 pages. Simply put, Lenin points out that anarchism is bourgeois individualism in reverse, and that it is satisfied with pointing out exploitation without understanding its causes, its place in social development, and the relevance of class struggle. Ultimately, he brands anarchism as a product of despair and a, quote, absurd negation of politics in bourgeois society. Political Agitation and the Class Point of View is a fascinating and under-examined text. It is highly relevant for our own time because in it, Lenin admits that there will be moments when communists need to support every movement against the existing system, and that includes working with liberal opponents of the autocratic regime. The rest of the volume is devoted to what is to be done and corrections to it. In the context of what is written before it, what we've gone over, what is to be done appears as a text that addresses issues that Lenin had previously talked about: a vanguard party, spontaneity and anarchism, and economism. It goes to show that major works are not crafted in a vacuum, but emerge out of previous conversations, or, as Lenin put it, from, quote, burning questions of our movement. In the next episode, I will provide a summary and overview of volumes 1 to 5. Thanks for listening. Until next time.